What is up, beautiful people? Welcome. It's been a beautiful weekend. It's been a beautiful Monday. I almost said weekday, but it is a weekday. Beautiful Monday. There's been so many opportunities on the market today. A beautiful recovery on the market from going from red to green. The market bounced off of a couple levels that we have already mapped out. We're gonna get deeper into that. Bitcoin moved after hours. Holy smokes, Bitcoin above 30,000 in the after hours. So we're gonna be going through a couple Bitcoin stocks to find some possible trades tomorrow on that. Not sure what the news is, but we'll find out what the news is over there on Bitcoin too. And obviously we'll start off with some of the stocks that I traded on the day. We'll go through a big watch list of stocks to prepare for, something like Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Google, 3M, GE, all the earning stocks basically for tomorrow. The after hour movers, and like I said already, Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin with getting above 30,000, 34,000, I think is what I remember seeing it at right before going live over here. So we'll get deeper into that moves over there and dissect and see what type of opportunities can we make that money tomorrow. But real quick, let me take a glance at the chat. I see Dieter, I see CDP, both coming in, showing some love in the chat. Appreciate it. How was your weekend and how did your trading day go today? Mine was flat. I stayed flat on the day. There were some great opportunities, but I made some mistakes on the market, and that made me lose on the open. And then later on in the day, I was able to make all that money back that I lost. So I was pretty much flat on the day, and we're gonna dive into possibly how to maximize our winners, how to minimize our losers, and how to catch those trades that we missed out today on the day, and all things market. Went green today, says CDP. It went long on Amazon. Congratulations. I mean, long anything today on the tech basket really paid dividends because monster move on the market today, right off a recent bottom on the QQQ. So we'll get deeper into that. Part of me is a little upset that I didn't use my Sam Bankman Fried thumbnail that I created because I didn't know Bitcoin was at 34K, and then I made the second thumbnail that you guys see at the moment, the Django thumbnail. But I wish I used the Sam Bankman Fried thumbnail, but maybe we'll use it eventually. I'll show it to you guys maybe somewhere down the road today if we get to there. But as we always start off this show, the after hour show, I guess it's the after hour ends at 8 and we start at 8 o'clock. So the after hour show coming in over here. We're going to start off with most of our trades on the day. Actually, all of our trades, not most. I think you guys actually see all my trades from the day today. And I don't really have to hide anything from you. NVIDIA. My most profitable stock on the day today, mainly because of how volatile the stock is, and how easily I was able to get some clean scalps off the stock to the downside in this tight range that it was stuck in. Missed a monster move to the north side. Since I missed the long, I didn't really think there was more long in the stock market or in Nvidia itself. So just stayed on the on the backside of it, but in the backgrounds, I guess. I was able to scalp some shorts later on. I think somewhere over here in the day, Nvidia comes out with that news that they're teaming up with ARM to dive into the chip business for PCs. So disrupting Intel and AMD's market space a little bit. So ARM got back above 50 today. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But all before that happening, I was basically looking at some possible short opportunities for retracement back to VWAP. I waited a long time, and right around 4:30, it looked like there was a good opportunity for a decent enough sell-off for a nice little risk to reward scalp. I was short around 429.50, 50 cents of risk. Was able to ride it to the downside, but then got stopped out over here on that position once it reclaimed this level. And then I tried some shorts again a couple more times, got stopped out, but was able to scalp some trades for about $1 or so, and then got stopped out in profit for the last few shares that I had. Most profitable trade on the day today over here, but it helped. All the stock did was help me make some of my money back that I lost over here on HES. What is HES? Some random stock getting bought out by CVX for about $171. I thought it was an all cash deal. It's not an all cash deal. It's actually a all stock deal. So based on that, I didn't read the news properly. I didn't all I saw was getting bought out for $171. So I just started trading the stock. Hey, the premium's too little. Why is it still barely up on the day? If it's going to get bought out at 171, you should possibly see the stock closer to 171. But no, it wasn't the case. It was an all stock deal. I tried a couple longs over here, tight risk. On the break of that level, I got out. Tried some more longs in this consolidation area by VWAP, scalped sometimes, and then tried some more longs, got stopped out on that one. Turns out it's not an all stock deal, so it's not an all cash deal, it was an all stock deal. So at this point I just stopped trading it because it's not the setup that I'm used to trading. So this is the biggest loser on the day, the first loser on the day, and then the rest of the day I'm just basically fighting the money that I gave up over here on that stock. So Nvidia helps me with some of that fight. Later on over here around 14:52 or so is when ARM actually announces that the catalyst, or Nvidia announces that catalyst along partnership with ARM. So this stock, which was previously, I think yesterday or sorry, Friday or the day before that, went below 50, which was the IPO low. So now off this catalyst, I was watching for a possible move up to 50. I could have taken the breakout of 50, but I just stayed away on that. I could have taken a breakout of 50, could have gotten about a clean dollar scalp and think about getting back in on this position later on. I'll show you why I got in over here and also explain it to you right now, actually. Instead of talking about it later, I'll just show it to you. So if you put an anchor VWAP from that bottom move over there, right there, you see that anchor VWAP from where that move starts, right around this area, right around $50 or so, you see the stock previously break above 50 but come back and show a lot of buying in this area. It actually gets below a price point 50.30 to be exact, gets below 50.30 and goes to 50.11. And then instantly gets back to 50.30 and there's an iceberg order. It just keeps on printing 50.30 with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shares. The tape is so active and so much volume being printed into the 50.30 area, but the stock is not able to break. So instantly I just cross over, get long at 50.31. Now my risk is technically a penny, but my manager would have liked me to put my stop at 50 cents, $50, and he's not wrong. He explained why and so on, and he's not wrong. So let's say my risk was about 30 cents plus slippage. My reward was basically $1, $2, $3 if it had that more room to 55 or $56 to the north side, which it didn't today. But later on, I held some shares for a bigger move. It didn't really give me that bigger move, so I just ended up closing this position manually and got out of that position. As you guys can see later on in the after hours, it does push right back into those today's high around $51, $52 or so. So ARM looks like we'll find some trade opportunities tomorrow, especially on any pullbacks into that $50 area. I'll be interested to see how the stock behaves, and possibly we can look for some dip buy opportunities for a move into 55 or so, all of which will be covered later on today. Clean little scalp for I think 2R win or so. As soon as I had my 2R win, I took some outs and then I tried to see if we can hold some more size for a bigger trade. Didn't end up working. So another stock that helped us later on in the day to add to our winning basket. J&J. J&J, I guess this was earnings day 2, day 3 play. Let's go see what day was earnings. Earnings was over here, so 1, 2, 3, so day 4 play technically. Ever since the earnings came out in pre-market, the stock has been rejecting the earnings anchored VWAP. So focusing on that, as the stock does pull into yesterday's anchor VWAP, I'm looking at rejection. The stock is showing you instant rejection over there. Okay, and no trade for me at this point because I'm waiting to see what happens over here. I flip away from the stock, I come back, and then I look at the stock later on in the day. It's now trading under today's VWAP. Okay, that's pretty decent, but we still have this VWAP over here, still here, and the stock could easily just bounce between these two, anchor VWAP pinch, and then maybe go up over here, or there maybe go down over here. So I just flipped away from the stock. I didn't want to, I didn't really want to trade the stock. I thought it would just be stuck in these ranges, not do too much. So slipped away from it. Later on, as I'm looking for stocks to trade, I see, now it's actually below this anchor VWAP too, and now I'm actually seeing it reject this 152.60 area and not able to push back up to the north side. And the angle of these VWAPs, and even the angle of today's VWAP, right? The angle of today's VWAP is just so steep to the downside, a big indication of trend and just selling, constant selling, programmed selling coming in. So focusing on these technical indicators telling me what they're telling me, the stock is giving you a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. I look for some short opportunities. So as you guys can see right there, right around 152.50 with my stop at 152.60 at the high of this move over here, I start taking some shares. I add some on the break of low near 152. And now I'm just waiting to see what happens. Are you going to break that 152.60 area? Are you not going to break that 152.60 area? The stock clearly never really pushes above 152.60. It pushes back down easily, put to the downside. But if you zoom out on this chart, you see right there at 152, 151.50, there's actually, some sort of a level there yesterday, and the stock basically closes right around those prices. I was expecting a bigger move to 150. I mean, maybe we could get that bigger move to 150 where the stock bounced off of, but it just didn't have that in it today, and I didn't really expect a bigger move on it. I took some profits on the move down over here on that flush down, but I got stopped out on the move back up. But that program selling was just too much because the stock just trickle to the downside all day without any problem and barely any bounces, because it tested today's VWAP off the open a little bit, but never really came back to today's VWAP. Just struggle for J&J. I think the stock could have a little bit more struggle tomorrow also and go straight back to that 150 area, at which point we can possibly look for some longs. And now I'm not really interested to do anything in these ranges. Now I'm just waiting to see what happens at 150 for J&J tomorrow. Since we already said that out loud, we might as well go ahead and put that in our notes for J&J. Do we have J&J anywhere? J&J. We don't, so we're just gonna put over here. Wait for 150 area to come in play, and could see possible long ops here, but if we get ready to get short, baby. Okay, J&J. Now back to our trades on the day. So J&J, another winner on the day, helping us scalp on it. Could have technically held my last few shares, could have technically gotten back in at multiple times. And stock did give you opportunities. If you drew a trend line, it just played within that trend line and never really broke that channel. So amazing channel to the downside. Programmed computerized selling after I guess, what is that, 11 o'clock or so, or even right off the open around 10 o'clock kicking in. Morgan Stanley. This 72 level Morgan Stanley we talked about previously. If you go to the yearly chart, you see that $72 area right there coming in from July 2022. So Morgan Stanley was waiting to see what happens at 72. I let the stock actually break below 72, trade around there a little bit, and then I made that decision. Previous Prad, the old Prad, would have just had a blind order at 72, but now, I let it trade. I really waited, and then I got in right at the move back up to the north side. Was able to scalp some easy wins to the north side also, but overall I was watching the stock. It was creating lower highs but also higher lows. It was basically creating a wedge pattern. So focusing on the wedge pattern, I waited for the lower day to get tested. The lower day broke, I got into a short. I kept my risk tight though, so I didn't really lose too much on this position, and overall positive ticker for me. Looks like that $72 area did end up holding, and look at that 71.70, which is today's low, is basically the new low. What's that price? at 72.05, and today's low is basically the new 52-week low coming into play a little bit. But I think tomorrow we could see the stock jumping right back above 72 and pop right back up to the north side. I mean, the bank earnings were all pretty decent, so I'm not expecting too much bearishness coming over here. And this was the trend line that I was talking about, the wedge pattern that I was noticing Morgan Stanley make. Just gonna remove those lines now because it doesn't matter. Later on in the day though, sold off quite a bit, almost going back to $71 over here, and closing under 72 today. Looks like a little bit weak on Morgan Stanley, obviously down 2 full%. We'll find some trades on it later on as we get to that part, but here are my trades once again today. Took some longs on this reclaim of 72 and then looked for a short on the break low a day, which never really had any follow through. Could have possibly got long on the failure of follow through. Got that scalp back in long like I did earlier on in the day and just kept trading that range, but just walked away from the stock. Didn't really expect the stock to do too much on the day, and looks like I was right for most time of the day. Apple. The Apple had some sort of a weak negative catalyst about Foxconn China. Wasn't really too weak of a catalyst, but off the open, the market was ripping, but then market started selling off after that. And I noticed how Apple was holding this VWAP area, today's VWAP, pretty damn well off the open, but eventually gives off and breaks that area. So focusing on that breakdown, I got short. I got some out right before 170, and then I was getting ready to take the break of 170. Here's where I let my risk slip a little bit. I'm watching the stock not have follow through. It goes back above 170. It's going to 170.20, 170.40, 170.60, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, it's gonna go back down. It's gonna go back down. It's not gonna go back. It's not gonna go up. And the stupid decisions over there made me basically give back whatever I made on the first scalp on the second entry over here, and basically turn the stock flat on the day over here right off the open. Later on, I was looking for a possible entry long because obviously the market was stupid strong. So in this consolidation area, I look for any reasons to really get into the long afterwards. I see the stock showing me some buying pressure, so on this move down over here, I got long with another entry order somewhere in the lower end of these ranges, which never really come into play. The stock starts rallying after one of my entries, so I scalp out some of my profits right before high a day, just in case the stock does come back into the lower end of these ranges. I'm able to get more closer to VWAP, but that doesn't happen. So now I'm taking the break out of the high a day. I'm able to scalp some more over there on this move back down over here. I didn't really expect Apple to have this sort of move in it today, especially after the market was opening up a little weak, and it looked like Friday's sell-off could have continued a little bit more over here. But no, man, pretty decent recovery on the markets overall. And shout out to the tech basket, especially Nvidia, for monster rally on Nvidia today. Even though we did short it, we went counter trend, but the Nvidia monster rally. AMD I think sold off, however, with the sad catalyst that Nvidia and ARM want to disturb their business. Once again, here's our Apple shorts, here's our Apple longs. Could have held my Apple long a little bit better, but traded that one pretty damn poorly. Palantir, quick little short at 16. Nothing really past that on this trade. The stock broke 16 up to $16.02, and then came back and consolidated in this area. It was way too strong on the day anyways. Market was going up higher. Could have just stayed away from this short, but there are a couple chances out there where this stock actually gives you that decent risk to reward short. You're risking about 2 to 5 pennies to the upside for a bigger move down to VWAP, and that risk to reward over there plays out. Once again, I would take this trade a million times out of a million times, and it would probably pay out 700 times out of, or let's say 100 times, and 70 times it would pay out probably. But today, with the strength of the market, it didn't pay out. Also, I could have stayed away from it, noticing the strength. I mean, higher low, higher highs, higher low, higher highs. I could have waited for the curl, for the turn down. I could have possibly gotten short over here in this area for a quick little scalp, but the stock never really had any move all the way down to VWAP. Was way too damn strong on the day. So shout out to Palantir. Maybe tomorrow we see somewhere closer to 17 coming back into play on the stock. But today, quick little short. Think I lost 3-4 pennies on it. No damage taken. SPY, quick little long Didn't really have any trade set up on SPY. I wanted to take the long on the breakout of 420. It was a pretty solid level. Was also watching this area over here for the V-shaped, you know, right side of the V, the Lance's, not psychology, but Lance's theory. I don't know if that's the right word to use. Either way, he talks about, you know, being on the right side of the V. Imagine you were on the right side of the V on any of these stocks today. Monster opportunities. You could have gotten long here with your stop at the low a day over there, and then your risk to reward was just insane. So shout out to the S&P 500. Shout out to the QQQs. Only up 0.39%. That's pretty sad. But I guess that's because, you know, today the markets were pretty good to the downside to start off the day. Okay, so SPY, quick little long near that 420 area. Took that long. It went back through 420. I got out of that position. Did not care about getting back in, and I think I made a big mistake over there. Later on in the day, it did pull back to 420. Gave me a chance to get that long once again. Stayed away from it. I think I repented quite a bit. I cried quite a bit about not being able to grow the balls to take that long over there, and missed out on a big opportunity. Another opportunity that we missed out on the long today was QQQ, man. What a miss, absolute miss. This low right here on September 27, 2023's low gets tested in pre-market, off the open, flushes, no follow through off that pre-market low / September low, a V-shaped recovery, and an insane rally to the north side for the QQQ. So I mean, those are insane levels over there that you know, if you have them mapped out, you need to execute off of them. So missed out on a trade on the SPY there, missed out on the trade on the QQQ. Monster money to be made overall. Shout out to anyone who was able to you know, be patient and catch those trades. OKTA, I think cybersecurity company, recently announced that, you know, they got hacked themselves. I'd say this all the time. I don't believe in cybersecurity when cybersecurity is just the absolute lie sold to people. But, you know, it makes sense. Cloudflare, which is net, things like those are needed. But OKTA getting hacked themselves, pretty sad news over there. So they flushed quite a bit off of that news catalyst, I think a couple days ago or on Friday. Today, there was a continuation with a downgrade on that stock. So with that continuation, the stock pushing down to a pretty serious level near that 67 area. I got short right around the open. The stock struggled to get above 70 off the open. So took some entries, added on the way down, took some profits. And over here, I fought this trade a little bit and then ended up giving up whatever I made and turning the stock flat on the day. I think I lost 80 cents on this trade overall. So that kind of sucked to turn the stock flat. And then it just range traded all day, so I stayed away from it. OKTA at the moment though, I think we actually have to put this one on the watch list. I might have forgotten to put this one on the watch list. Just gotta keep watching it. OKTA, and along with OKTA, we can actually put in maybe coin over here, because Bitcoin and then all those other stocks was something that we want to take a look at for tomorrow. Okay, so OKTA, you know, a flat stock on the day for us today. And then HES, we already talked about this, our number one loser, pretty much how we started off our day with, and then we had to fight all day for the rest of the day to make our money back and end up flat on the day. So pretty okay Monday for us. Could have been better, all right? Could have been better, always could have been better, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be fighting the market and making that money back, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. Give this guy a like, says CDP. I love it. Went green today. Oh, yeah, I already read that. I saw the magic of the anchored view app this morning on SPY. The perfect bounce. Shh, don't tell people, man. Shut up. Sweet 8L, thumbs up. Hey, I love it, Sweet L. How you doing, man? How's your day today? TH number 9. TH, you're late today. No, I appreciate it. Welcome. How you doing, TH? How's your weekend? What about CLF earnings? Which did best? Yes, we're going to take a look at only 2 earnings companies for tonight that came out with earnings tonight, at least is what I'm trying to say over there. I don't really care about any of the other companies. Never heard of them, never traded them, don't care about them. So only two companies will be looking at: CLF and Logi. Logi a little bit lighter on the volume side. It's also an ADR, so sometimes it does bring in volume. Sometimes it really gives you clean trades on that stock. It could be one of those hidden gems that no one really looks at, but gives you some awesome trades off of, with low volume but a good relative volume spike. So keep a watch on Logitech. Tomorrow pre-market: Coca-Cola, Verizon, GE, Raytheon Technologies, 3M, Spotify, NEE, an energy stock that we've been trading in the last couple weeks or so, and then the volume died off, so maybe tomorrow we get some volume off that stock to trade with. GM, and then obviously after hours we got big companies coming out: Microsoft, Google, Snapchat, Visa, Teladoc, I guess Texas Instruments for those that are interested. But yeah, a couple stocks over here, a couple major companies coming up tomorrow that are reporting, so very interested. But why don't we start off with the stocks that announced earnings today after hours? So CLF announced, Cleveland Cliffs announced earnings after hours today. We're gonna take a look at that report real quick. There we go. What's on my screen? There we go. Shout out to Benzinga for this earnings report. And for anyone who wants to get Benzinga, make sure you go click on the links down below in the description. You'll be able to you'll be directed directly to the Benzinga platform, and you'll help me out whenever you do click on those links, or if you sign up to Benzinga using my links. Coming out with earnings report, it looks like they had a beat. Well, a beat on revenue. I don't really see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Beat on EPS, beat on revenue, adjusted EPS. Company is flat after reporting, or did it go red? Looks like it went red after reporting. No, it went positive. It went positive, but they're not really putting in the colors over here. But you guys saw the earnings report. There's the earnings report. Nice little beat coming in for CLF, and we're gonna obviously put in what we like to do over here real quick. The earnings, looks like the earnings came out at this time, 16:07. Earnings anchor VWAP, and then we'll be focusing on seeing how this level kind of helps us tomorrow going into the day. How much volume did this stock do on a day-by-day basis? Average 10-day volume 9 million shares. That's not bad. Today 13 million. That's also not bad. On earnings days, looks like it does bring in a little bit of extra volume, currently around $14-15 or so. Looks like a little bit of a level, or a solid bottom around this area. Last time a trader around these area was 2020. We did 2022, sorry. But these bottoms seem to be held up quite a bit. So if for any reason we come back into these lows, I'm going to be interested to see how the stock trades in these areas on a negative earnings report. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to do this real quick. Put in that box, then I can put in the levels, because then the levels show up on top of the box instead of under the box. So So 1183 to 1277, this whole area on the lower ranges, if the stock does announce negative earnings, I'm looking to see how it behaves in this lower end of the ranges. I mean, obviously the stock probably doesn't even have that big of an ATR. Sometimes the ATR obviously expands up to $1.32 or so, but looks like the average ATR is about 62 cents, and we can probably just go to Finviz over here and check what the without having to guesstimate what the ATR is. We can actually go see what the actual calculation is. There we go, 55 cents. We said about 60 cents, about 55 cents is the their ATR. So expecting the stock to do a lot more than lower than 1183 on negative earnings, that would have to be a really bad miss on this position. And for the stock to do a lot more than higher than 18-17 tomorrow on positive earnings, that would also be on a really big beat on earnings position over there. So couple things to watch out, you know. Be careful if you are looking for a breakout of these areas or anything. I think the stock could easily find resistance in these zones without a problem, as its ATR will limit it, and then continuation swing trade, whatever, we could see the stock trickle higher or trickle lower later on. But for tomorrow specifically, I'm interested to see how the stock behaves in this recent low right under $14. Right under $14, this recent low. Oh, god damn it. What's with all these ranges on the stock? I mean, it's always ranges, right? It's never really to the point. It's always ranges. So I would like to see how the stock behaves in this range over here to the downside on CLF on negative earnings. If this holds, then maybe we can range trade in this area on light volume. I don't know why you'd be interested in that, but you can do that. But if that doesn't happen, then we have this lower range over here, which is a little bit thicker area of range, but I'm interested to see what happens in this lower prices. I mean, the stock barely traded in these prices, so if the stock ends up dropping down there and finds buyers again at those prices, that means there's a big buyer sitting over here right under 12, and he is soaking up all the size, and the stock is not able to break that. So looking for any indications of that showing up again on CLF. So let's quickly head over to our notes over here. Don't expect stock to go lower than 12/1180. 1180 on negative earnings and higher than, what is this area? Today we're at 4. This would be 1 full ATR or one that's 3 ATR. Yeah, 50 cents is 1 ATR, $1 is 2 ATR. That's 3 ATR going up to this area. So that would be a 10% move, drop, pumping up to 16, 15, 50. Yeah, that's $16. Pumping up to $16. So expecting the stock to even trade above 16, going up to the 17, 20, $18 would be a little bit of an over-exaggerated move higher than 16. But if strong and sticky near 16 could maybe see strong and sticky near 16 around midday, could see 18 after a pullback. So the idea there is, you know, good report, stock pumps up, trickles down, finds some support, and then pumps back up to the north side and then ends up higher. So just a thesis, just an idea. Not sure if it'll work out that way, but here I'm not expecting much higher than 16. I'm not expecting much lower than here to how much is 10% of the downside on this stock? It's right around that area of 1275. So you can see how this 1275 area will be right around the SSR marker, and once the stock triggers SSR, I think the stock could just easily bounce up to the north side. So be very careful. Logitech is coming up next on the board. Logitech very, very light on the volume. Sometimes it does give you extended R-vol and a big jump on the scale too. Did Logitech already announce earnings, or is it? It did announce earnings. Okay, so Logitech already announced earnings, but I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing Monday after hours. Okay, that's pretty good. But you guys didn't report it, and I'm not seeing it on. I'm not seeing on Benzinga either, so maybe they did not report. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with over here with Logitech. Their previous earnings report, they had a monster move rally up to the north side. It was this day over here. I remember looking at it. I think I actually traded it. Let me go see if I did. Maybe I can pull up the notes for the stock, and then we can kind of compare what the possibilities are for this position. LOGI. I did not trade it. I don't have the trade at all. But I remember watching it very clearly on this day, and because of light volume off the open, I think I missed out on the rally to the north side. If we were to put in an anchored VWAP from that day, we're basically struggling around that anchored VWAP right now. We traded below a little bit, traded above it a little bit. So a lot of indecision around this area for this stock, and I guess this next earnings report that was supposed to come out today, also because I think I want to say German. I want to say German. Switzerland. It's a Switzerland company. So maybe they announced their earnings based on the Switzerland time zone. So we might just have to wait. It could be intraday that or maybe at midnight. I don't know. So we'll just have to wait. I think tomorrow morning we'll see the earnings report coming out for this stock, and then we can possibly find some trades off of it. Right now, you can see the range that it's stuck in, right? Pretty solid range between, let's say, what's that, 68 to 75. Let's say 65 to 75. It's stuck in 65 to 75 for about half a year now, July to the August over here, or October, sorry. And we're waiting to see if this earnings report can help it break out or stay stuck in this range, as continue to be stuck over there. But nothing that we can actually put into our notes going for tomorrow. Coca-Cola, we have a lot of levels already mapped out for Coca-Cola, and some of these levels come into play because of that Ozempic diet drug, weight loss drug that's been floating around. It's hurting McDonald's, it's hurting Coca-Cola, hurting Pepsi, a lot of other companies out there getting hurt too. But based on this earnings report, which I think Coca-Cola will not be missing, we want to see what happens. Does it make some relief rallies back into the north side off of this sell-off that it's been having because of this Ozempic catalyst, or does that Ozempic catalyst actually drop down the numbers over here that Coca-Cola makes? Do they lose a little bit of money and so on? Because apparently that Ozempic drug decreases your appetite. Not only does it make you lose weight, it also decreases appetite, and that's part of the reason why these companies are just getting absolutely sold off and get slapped at the moment. So you can see right here, we're right back to the 21 lows. You see how this 21 lows double bottom is now creating somewhat of a triple bottom, right? So if for any reason this stock is dropping right back into this triple bottom areas, anywhere from 52.50s to as low as 51.50s, look for possible supports to come in. But if those supports don't hold up, then we could easily see the stock dropping right back into these $50 areas to the south side on that earnings report. If earnings report comes out bad, then that whole idea that the Ozempic pill is making these companies lose money is actually going to stand true, and more weakness could really come into these companies. So you got to watch out to the downside if you are long Coca-Cola, especially for dividend or whatever. A lot of those Warren Buffett copycat traders, some people love to copy some of the best traders out there. That's why you guys are here watching my stream, trying to copy what I do, right? Now, all jokes aside, Warren Buffett has probably a million copycats out there just copying whatever his portfolio does in order to try and resemble and emulate whatever he does himself out there at Berkshire Hathaway. So Coca-Cola, which is a pretty big part of his company, gives a pretty decent dividend. Right there, 46-cent dividend per share. A lot of people might be holding on to these positions, and a lot of people might be thinking about getting into Coca-Cola for that same dividend payout. So possible new buyers, new hedge funds probably loading into this position. These are almost discount prices, not saying that they are. The stock has dropped down to $36 during COVID, and then it's could easily drop back down there with that drug catalyst if it's bad enough. I'm not saying it will, right? But could easily have that negative catalyst that takes it right back to the lower side. But I think these prices are going to be attractive for investors, so you might want to be a little careful. It's quite a bit sold off for Coca-Cola. So I'm looking for any long opportunities on that earnings report, especially if it's green. But if the earnings report's red, then continue for the sell-off and enjoy for that sell-off. Verizon, same catalyst as AT&T. I think if you look back on the 1 year chart, I think Verizon looks a little bit worse than AT&T at the moment. Here is AT&T. This is the 1 day chart. Okay, yeah. Why did that chart look so bad? So here's the 1 day chart. I mean, right there, as you guys can see, that's 2011 lows, and now we're even a little bit more lower than that, and we're almost going back to 2010 lows over here on Verizon, right before its earnings report. I think they obviously had a lot of negative catalysts recently with some sort of a lead wires or some catalyst, if I remember correctly. AT&T was at fault with that catalyst too. They sold off quite a bit, but AT&T right after that catalyst made a monster bounce and stuck around in the north side after making that bounce. But looks like Verizon, which I thought would look exactly similar to AT&T, that would be a negative statement, because it's continued selling after that bounce and kept struggling, and now going into this earnings report, we're worried to see what happens on VZ. So stay a little careful, especially if you are long on this position on the long term. That earnings report could break your portfolio a little bit more to the downside, but on a good earnings report, the question is, how much room to the north side does the stock really have? This one doesn't show you ATR, does it? Come on, TradingView. But how much room does it really have? On a normal day, it looks like the ATR is about 60 cents, and on a crazy day, the ATR could go up to $1 to $2. So the ATR could open up, especially if the earnings report ends up being good. We do have some sort of a low here, maybe at $30. Maybe. We'll see if the $30 low gets tested, and if 30 can hold on Verizon on a good earnings report, maybe we can get long off of that. But on a good earnings report, you basically don't even want to see the stock at 30. If today's price was good for buyers, then on a good earnings report, the stock should basically be gapping up, and that price should be even better for the buyers, because the stock has been sold off drastically on a longer time frame, right? So think about it in kind of that way. You basically don't want to see the stock trade lower on a good earnings report. It doesn't make sense. So you want to see it start trading higher and higher and higher, and at that point maybe we could be interested in it. But the grandpa stock over here, we're gonna have a lot of grandpa stocks that we're gonna go through. Another one coming up board over here, GE, making a little bit of a curl after having that double top on GE, looks like. So that's something of an important area to keep in mind, that 118 price point. If for any reason we have a good earnings report and the stock pops into 118, I think you can easily look for shorts off of that area. That's something that stands out right off the bat on GE. We do have a little bit of a channel now being created, lower lows, lower highs, but all of that will be technically negated based on how the earnings report comes out. That earnings report could take the stock easily to the high side, or continue to the downside, gap down, and then make another channel over here, and then continue that channel to the lower side. So you want to be careful. See how it respected this channel here. I'm expecting that's because the earnings report weren't that big of a beat. Ooh, I'm wrong. Monster beat over there. Decent beat, but yeah, didn't really bring in too much volume on earnings days, sadly, and just stuck in its ranges. I guess it's a grandpa stock, right? What do you expect from it? Grandpa stock, old company over there. It's been existing since 1968. Way longer than I have been alive. Probably way longer than you have been alive too. As for some trade opportunities tomorrow, where does that line come from? Like, why is that important from all the way back there? I might have to repaint some of these lines here for myself, but I'm more interested in what the stock has been doing in the recent areas, so I might just delete some of these. But hey, those lines, I mean, they're hitting. They're hitting. So maybe don't nuke them. Yeah, we'll leave those lines in. It's just like a 3-4 lines anyways. We'll leave them. We'll wait and see how the stock behaves on the way down to 100 on negative earnings report, and on a positive earnings report on the way up to 113, 118, how the stock behaves up there. So let me just put that in my notes. On negative what did I say? What is this price point? 114, 118. Raytheon Technologies. Okay, so RTX. I think this is Raytheon Technologies. Isn't RTX Raytheon? I know they changed their name to just RTX, right? Just change their name to RTX or former Raytheon. Okay, yeah, I knew it. Why would they do that? Trade name RTX, formerly Raytheon Technologies, 2022 to 2023, and now they just call themselves RTX because their ticker name's RTX. Like, what was the point in that? I guess RTX is the parent company, and its subsidiaries are all these other companies inside of it. Makes sense. Okay, cool. So RTX, I'm surprised it's trading over here. Where's LMT? See? LMT is doing a little bit better than RTX compared to, especially with what's going on recently. You know, I would have thought RTX would have done a little bit better, especially since that war catalyst in Israel. Looks like not too much of an effect on RTX off that catalyst, but you can see how this is consolidating in this range at the moment. So pretty important what the stock does inside of this box. Once we break out of this box on positive earnings report, we have a little bit more resistance in the near past. And then if that area breaks, looks like we got a lot of room over here to the upside on RTX on positive earnings report. On negative earnings report, I think the stock has a lot of room to the downside and could really see like a big move, 10% move to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock gaps down and really gets hurt. The stock gap down over here on this day. If we kind of put in the anchored VWAP from that day, see how that sticks in. That's kind of beautiful, right? We will. So that's kind of magical. That's kind of beautiful. You can see how this gap is basically being held perfectly to the downside of that anchored VWAP. Whoever started selling around this area is still selling. We can even throw one in from this gap over here. If for any reason the stock pops up into this gap, then it could possibly see more selling coming into play over there to the downside, and we'll watch out. This kind of lines up right near that gap high too. So multiple areas for the stock to possibly find some resistance on positive earnings report and on negative earnings report. I think this one's just plummeting, baby, plummeting to the downside. So be careful on that one. RTX coming up pre-market, ladies and gentlemen. Another one coming up with pre-market. We got a lot of stocks coming up pre-market tomorrow. We're gonna be busy. Okay, so be very careful when it comes to picking and selecting your stocks on which one you're trading. 3M, I think recently the stock has been selling off quite a bit. Sadly they've been getting hit with lawsuits and so on. I don't know if sadly is the right word, because they did lie and scam war veterans and cause them to go deaf or something. So maybe I shouldn't be apologetic for these guys. Get sued. Don't be messing with our war veterans and so on. That's kind of messed up, right? That's just kind of messed up. So just looking for some areas over here of possible point of interest on 3M for tomorrow's earnings report. Right now, obviously, it's on a new 52-week low descent to the downside. Tomorrow's earnings report could bring in a little bit of relative volume for us to take a look at. On positive earnings report, I think the stock has a lot of resistance areas to the upside, but if we can maybe see a nice little move up right back into this $90 area. If the stock is strong enough and can get above 91, then maybe we see 95, 96 right at the 50 period EMA. But I don't think we really see that tomorrow. I think the max the stock goes up to is somewhere around this 92.50. It'll be hard for me to see the stock really pumping up anywhere higher than this 90, 91. So yeah, what is that? 91 to 92.50 would be possibly the highest I see 3M tomorrow on a positive earnings report. And on a negative earnings report, gap down, sell off, big move down. Maybe it gaps down and then recovers a little bit off that move. So a couple scenarios over there that you have to plan for on a negative earnings report, because the stock has been on a descent to the downside and could just keep on going lower and lower and lower. Real quick though, let's go take a look at what the PE is on 3M. The PE on 3M forward. Oh, they don't make money? How old is 3M? They don't make money? Okay. I'm a little shocked right now. What's RTX's PE? 19, forward PE 13. Not bad PE. Not bad PE at all. What is that? Earnings day? Yeah, we knew that. We knew that. Anyways, so 3M over there, they don't make money? That's crazy to me right now. Overall getting hurt. I guess they don't make money because they're paying a shit ton in lawsuits and whatnot. That's probably because of it. Either way, I think the stock could easily sell off quite a bit tomorrow on a negative earnings report. Next up on the watch list, ladies and gentlemen, Spotify. My number one favorite streaming service that I use every single day, Spotify, coming up with the earnings pre-market. We got a couple more that are earnings coming up pre-market. We got a bunch of levels over here that are possible point of interest. But notice the consolidation in this area for Spotify, kind of struggling to really punch above 167 to 160. We do have that all-time high of 180. I think Spotify's earnings report has to be really banger for us to see the stock punch up to the higher side. They have been struggling a lot with making money. They've been thinking about increasing more increasing prices, creating ad supported tiers and so on. Overall, I like the platform. I love the platform. I think there's more Spotify users out there than any other users. I don't know if that's actually true. Let's actually Google it. Number one music streaming app by subscribers. There you go. Spotify, number one music streaming service. So they are the number one spot. They have the most subscribers. So what we need to see is a subscriber base growing. Are they willing to pay more? And then is Spotify thinking about more introductions and more ways to keep the viewer logged into the platform longer, the daily active listen hours or daily active users and so on. So a bunch of metrics over there to keep an eye out for, along with the subscriber count, and then possibly in their consumer call, in their conference call, they're going to talk about raising more prices, how their investors, how their board members are on a big pursuit to keep wanting to make more money and juice every single dollar that they can out of this company. So got to keep on a watch out. I think Spotify usually gives you a pretty good range and volatility on earnings days, gaps down or gaps up usually too. So got to have this one on watch. Don't ignore it. it'll be hard for me to see 182 to come into play, but on a positive earnings report, I mean, why not? We possibly gap right into 160, 165, and then the stock could easily rally into 182, reject 182, and dive right back to the south side. So you want to kind of keep all these levels on watch, to the lower end, to the higher end, and just wait for the stock to see what it wants to do on whatever it reports. So trade the stimuli that it gives a response to the stimulus that comes out tomorrow. NEE, the stock has sold off quite a bit recently, and then bounced back up into the higher end of these ranges right near 54 to 55. That's kind of the area that I'm interested in. So tomorrow, as earnings report comes up, I'm expecting a little bit of relative volume coming back into this position. The volume has been dying off, as you guys can see right here on the lower end of the screen. Let me just make sure you can see it. So volume has been dying off ever since it started making a bounce back up over here. But tomorrow with earnings, maybe there's some sort of a relative volume for us to play off. I'm looking for that 50 to hold on a positive earnings report, and giving us a possible long off that chance over there. But if negative earnings report and 50 doesn't hold, maybe we have a bigger move to the downside on NEE. And this stock has been giving us trades almost every single day for the last couple weeks. Recently, volume has been dying, so we just kind of have been ignoring this position. Here's a stock that we will 100% be ignoring it, because I don't know if this earnings really matters for this position. I mean, yeah, the UAW strike is a little bit important, but those numbers are not going to be reflected in this earnings call. I don't think so, right? But overall, UAW strike is a little bit more impactful in my opinion. For Ford, for GM, yeah, the earnings are coming out. Yeah, it's at 52-week low. It's also a grandfather stock, so I'm not expecting it to, move too much on a earnings report. Possibly just trickle down to the downside. Look at the ranges on earnings day itself. I mean, that doesn't excite me too much. That was the day that the UAW strike announced, I believe. Right? I believe that was the day. But earnings days doesn't really excite me on GM, so I'm not too excited to trade it. It will be on the watch list, don't get me wrong. If it's a big surprise to the downside, big surprise to the upside, maybe there's some trades over here to find, but there'll be better trades tomorrow for us, obviously, on Spotify, RTX, GE, Microsoft, Google, Netflix, Tesla. So this one's just on the back burner for me on GM. Talking about the better trades on the day tomorrow. First one coming up, Microsoft. All the tech basket today having a pretty decent rally back up into the Friday's ranges. I guess a nice little inside day over there for the market. Closing in an inside day, but bouncing on the QQQ off of a pretty recent low. But Microsoft, nice little 1% up on the day over here. Earnings tomorrow after hours. We just have to wait for that one. We saw what happened with Netflix. We saw what happened with Tesla. Tesla sold off. We saw Netflix rally to the upside. So no crystal ball here. We just have to be a little bit patient. A couple other stocks that are in the same basket of Microsoft in the after hour session is Google, Snapchat, Visa, Teladoc. Something to point out about Snapchat over here, that Snapchat, on Friday sold off like the rest of the market. But today, pushed right back into that range high that it's been, rejecting basically for the last few days. Looks like that purple line. What is that purple line? What in the fudge is that purple line? Why is that anchored from there? What is that line? Is that actually our EMA? What's that line? Is that 983? Okay, perfect. Ooh, look at that. That's actually the 100 period EMA. Why am I so confused about what that is? Yeah, that's the 100 period EMA on the daily chart at $9.83. And for the last few days, we've basically been struggling at that area right now and not able to punch back above that price. Here's the stock on a 5-day time frame. Notice how we're just basically barely getting above $9.80 and then flushing right back to the downside. So if for any reason the stock is able to get above 980 and really hold 980, I mean, this consolidation, this much amount of volume being traded in this price for some reason, I'm pretty interested to see what happens. So get above 980 and hold above 980 for a even bigger move up on Snapchat. With its earnings move coming up specifically, that level is a little bit more interesting. You know, break 990 and we got even more ranges over here to be looking out for. But all that depends on what happens tomorrow after hours. Let me quickly fix some of my spelling mistakes over here. Clearly I can't spell. And yeah, Visa, Teldoc also joining that basket of stocks, my friend. Basket of stocks. Oh, RIGL. Now we're going into some of the stocks that moved in the after hours. Coming up soon in that basket of stocks is going to be our Bitcoin basket. Bitcoin, Mara, Riot, Coinbase. I do see that. We have Marco G. Hey, Prad, can you take a look at Coinbase? Yeah, we'll take a look at Coinbase very soon. Is this pre-recorded? No, it's not. Predetermined. Predetermined? Is that Prad and predetermined together? Prester, do you check coin for tomorrow? Yes, we have it on our watch list. I don't think it's live. He doesn't answer comment. That's because I'm on a roll here, baby. I'm on a roll right now. Okay, yeah, coin will be bullish on the break of 80 according to my charts. I think you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Still not making profit. I'm thinking you're talking about RTX over there, or 3M. I think you're talking about 3M, which is, yeah, pretty surprising to me. Boeing, please. There's no reason to look at Boeing until tomorrow, honestly. I'm not going to be trading it. I don't think you should be either. There's not going to be, you know, a relative volume spike. The stock's not doing more volume than it should be. And the catalyst is not going to be out yet. So I think you can be patient. Just wait until the reason actually comes out for you to trade, and then once that reason comes out, then we can situate for ourselves over there for the longer time frame. So patience on that one. Coming back to RIGL, which moved after hours, a penny stock moving back up to the north side in the after hours over here. What? Did nothing in the after hours, but looks like it popped up slightly up to 81 cents. Maybe I just move you off my watch list because I don't care at this point. You did no volume in the after hours, dude. Get out of my watch list. Okay, so we had one over here though, however, that we can take a look for. This one did a lot of volume in the after hours and actually got above $1 and trying to stay above $1 in the after hours. ASTI. So let's go to flow checker. Flowchecker.com. Let's go to flow checker, refresh that page, and ASTI. What? Anywhere from 197,000 to 3.1 mil, anywhere from 2% to 12.95% short float. So drastic numbers over there all across the board. Recently did have a stock split which got it above $1, I guess, but then got right back under $1 for this position. And then now whatever the catalyst is, let's quickly see if we can find it. Some sort of a notification. Okay. Substantially reduces outstanding debt. That's on October 12th, but 4 hours ago. U.S. Department of Energy encourages Ascent Solar to submit full application for federal funding of agrivoltaic product development projects. So whatever it is, sounds like a good catalyst. Pumped back above $1. Let's see if the stock can hold above $1 tomorrow and give us the trades on it. Now to the most active possible sector in the day tomorrow, which will be BTC, ladies and gentlemen. So let's look for the high volume node. I think it will be this candle. I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow off of this buying candle. I guess you could maybe put it somewhere here. This is where the characteristics basically changed. I mean, dude, who saw this coming? We were above 30k today. I didn't know Bitcoin went to 30K. Like, when did Bitcoin go to 30K? What the hell happened here? I mean, that is monstrous, ladies and gentlemen. That is awesome. Let's go, Bitcoin. Let's go. LFG. LFG. Okay. I mean, Bitcoin looks like it might just go to 100K tomorrow, right? Bitcoin looks like it might just go to 100K tomorrow. So those are the two anchored VWAPs I'll possibly be interested in. Take a look for to see what happens on BTC. If Bitcoin can stay above these two anchor points, right where we break out over here, and then this big volume node on the chart. If we can stay above these 2 points and keep on rallying higher and higher, I mean, it looks like it wants to take out 34,000 over here in the after hours itself. I guess Bitcoin doesn't really have any after hours, but it looks like it wants to take out this area right now. That might just give us some good trades tomorrow on Mara, Riot, Coinbase, all of which are reclaiming some of these important levels that the stocks have struggled in previously. If Mara can get back above 9, stay above 9. It's simple, get the F-Lon. If above 9 and can stay, and BTC is above, let's say 31K. Riot should be $10, right? Yeah, Riot right around 950 is where it's at. After hours got above 10, got up to 1050, going back to 11. If above 10 and can stay above 10 or even 11, and BTC is above 31K, smash the long here also. What does more volume? I'm pretty sure Mara does more volume. Let's go back to the yearly chart. Mara does, this is Riot. Riot does 38 million, 20 million average. Let's go to Mara. Mara does 33 million average. So Mara does a little bit more volume in case you volume freaks who want to really maximize this trade and take a lot of size. You might want to be interested in Mara instead of Riot, but both of them opportunities are there. And for you freaks who are really in love with volatility and only care about those big moves, there's always Coinbase. Coinbase 80 has been a pretty solid level in the past, if I remember accurately. Right over here, that level is a little bit loose. It goes anywhere from 80 to 82, $81, $82. But if Coinbase obviously can get above 80, hold above 80, I think you can even take that loose level up to $82, like I just mentioned. As long as we can stay above 80 to $82, there's a big move to $87 over here on Coinbase, and then even a bigger move than 87. We've seen Coinbase's volatility and range get crazy some days, so watch out for that. I mean, maybe some sort of a short squeeze also taking place over there, so you want to be careful. Obviously, as Bitcoin is rallying, if coin can stay above 80 to 82, can get long here, risk $2 for a big move to 87 or even more. AGNC, what the hell is this stock? You do decent amount of volume. Oh, you're I think you're an earnings based stock, are you not? I think I found you in the after hours scanner today. AGNC, yeah, right there, after hours scanner, 3.2 million. Oh, you're not an earnings. Oh, it is an earnings. AGNC investment sees Q3 earnings decline from Q2 stock slide. So stock obviously dropping in the after hours over here a little bit, dropping 10% or more in the after hours. Supposed to be earnings, but I don't really see the earnings things over there. It's 439. Okay, I'll take it. 439. So we have this level over here right around 750 apparently, based on whatever volume the stock transacted in the after hours. The stock closed at 728, which is pretty much right around over here. Yeah, pretty much at the all-time low at this point. No, not all-time low, but is that the 52-week low? Yeah, right around 52-week lows where the stock closed. And it might just be able to continue going lower and lower, take out this level. Won't be surprised if we do take out that level. Before I do that, obviously I want to do this. Bang, bang. Okay. She shot me down. Bang, bang. Okay, come on, magnet. Thank you. So I think the stock could have a bigger move. It is down 10%. So that could also trigger SSR. Not sure if this is a big company that could warrant some sort of an SSR bounce on this, meaning that the stock has some sort of a relief off of this 730 area tomorrow, 720, maybe even $7 area. I think the stock could easily go right back to the 2020 lows of 625 before seeing any sort of relief coming into it. So be careful if you are looking for those SSR bounces. Could see 2020 lows of what was it, 625? Okay. Whoo-wee. Now we go to the next few list of stocks over here. God damn, I can't type at all apparently today. The next few list of stocks, a couple of these stocks we're just gonna speed run over here because some of these stocks are kind of day 2, day 3 plays, and we got more in play stocks tomorrow. Some of them are obviously the earnings from pre-market and the Bitcoin stocks. These are more in play. These stocks are always fun to trade without a doubt, as they do volume every single day. But these stocks tomorrow will do probably enough relative volume to trade off of. But for day traders, as SMB Capital always says, you want to look for those in-play stocks. So I think the really in-play stocks are right here, the Coinbase, Mara, Riot. The second tier of in-play stocks will be the earnings that are announced pre-market tomorrow. And then the third tier of in-play stocks will be the most active stocks such as Tesla, Palantir, AMD, Apple, and so on. All of which moved pretty good today. Let's start off with real quick Apple over here. Apple holding that 170 beautifully and making a rally up to 174, 175. Some of these levels which have been previously important for Apple. I know my charts look really messy, so ignore that. I know most of you have your charts for yourselves on these big techs, so I would urge you to obviously trade your levels. The whole idea of the stream is not to give you levels and just provide you free trades every single day, although that's kind of what I'm doing. The idea is to kind of show you how I'm going through my trade routine, my trade process, how I'm looking for trades and so on. And if you kind of vibe with that whole theory, then possibly you can pick up a couple notes for yourself and you can start creating theories yourself and trades for yourself, right? This is a way of kind of teaching a man to fish and not really just fishing for that man. So don't just copy anyone's trade is all I'm saying. Don't just copy anyone's trade just because they're on the internet, on the YouTubes, especially from that other channel. Coming back to Apple over here. Apple held that 170 area cleanly today, boys. Cleanly, and popping back up to the north side. Tomorrow, I think there could be more trades over here. If QQQ can, let's just go to QQQ for the tech basket and the whole, right? If QQQ for any chance goes back down to the 351 lows and shows support again, that's even more of a reason to get long on the overall basket tomorrow for the tech basket. But if QQQ shows weakness around 351, then there's a reason over there for us to get short on the overall tech basket. So I think that kind of basically just sums up all tech. Microsoft, even though Microsoft has earnings after hours tomorrow, there's a good chance that Microsoft just trades sideways and doesn't really do too much. Same thing with Google, as the big money traders who actually move stocks are just staying in the sidelines and waiting for the numbers to actually come out so they can make some trades off of that. But there'll be other positions moving around most likely, and if QQQ doesn't end up being an inside day after bouncing off of this level today, there's some possible trades over there. If it ends up being an inside day, meaning the market goes right back to the downside, bounces off this level, there could be some possible muted trades over there until the tech basket really comes out, because we got Microsoft, Google, Amazon. What else do we have? Not tomorrow, Amazon, but yeah, Meta tomorrow, Amazon, and Intel for Thursday. So lots of stocks coming out. Did I say Meta tomorrow? Not Meta tomorrow. Meta Wednesday. So a lot of big tech coming out this week, and the market basically stands still until those come out, in my opinion. So be a little bit patient. Tomorrow might have to just be stay back and not trade the big tech, and then tomorrow after hours and going into the rest of the week might just be big tech party every single day. That being said, there'll be trading opportunities all across the board on all these big techs. I mean, AMD recently had its catalyst that Nvidia is going to disturb their space of possible crackdown below 100, so you can watch for that trade setup over there on AMD. Intel obviously getting their business disrupted too over here, so they're pushing right back to the downside. Looks like this previous level on Intel, if you just zoom back, look at that beautiful level on Intel, 3370. So I'm pretty interested in that 3370. Look to see what happens near 3370 area after the Nvidia ARM catalyst on AMD. Look to see what happens near 100 after the Nvidia ARM catalyst. I mean, this could give you a decent short to the downside, ladies and gentlemen. This could be a nice short off that Nvidia catalyst. So I wouldn't ignore Intel, although I did say ignore tech basket, right? I wouldn't ignore Intel. And Tesla gives you every single day monster $10 ranges, $5 ranges to trade off. So if you are interested to trade Tesla, maybe we see that $20 area coming back into play, or maybe we see that 220 coming back into play, right? That's where basically we traded in today, the 200 or 220. So just be patient on any of these big tech stocks. I'm pretty sure there'll be some trade opportunities. American Airlines, I was watching this one today. It did give you a bounce, but I didn't find any trade to get into for myself. But nice little bounce on American Airlines. I did tell you that we're waiting for some really good long opportunities on these airline sector, but you don't have to lose money trying to catch the bottom. Let the stock curl a bit, and then we can look for those longs. Right now, even as a day trader, I don't want to step in, because this is programmed selling in a channel, straight channel action to the downside. Until this channel stops being programmized to the downside and starts curling a little bit, I'm not really looking for longs, because this is on a swing mindset. This is selling off big time, right? So just let that stock do what it wants to do. We'll come back later. Nvidia, kind of like Tesla, could give you some monster ranges, and obviously that catalyst, the ARM catalyst that it had today, a little bit more interesting. Monster rally today on Nvidia. Shout out to that. This was the anchor VWAP when they announced that the stock was going to be a little bit more stricter when it comes to sending advanced chips to China. So that catalyst has been pretty strong, and the stock has been selling off below that anchor VWAP ever since that news catalyst came out, right? now finally getting back above it. So that's a little bit of an area of interest for me, from 427 to 430, to see what happens on Nvidia. If for any reason we dip into 427 or get to 430 and start breaking out of 430, possible trades over there. Amazon, I'm going to be a little hands off on Amazon until their earnings come out. NIO at a pretty decent range over here also. I mean, trying to push right back above these areas, this consolidation, but I'm more interested to see what happens on NIO at $7. And I do think 7 comes into play. Until then, it's just hands off for me. Rivian finding support right at that $16. Rivian finding support at 16, but no trade for me on Rivian. It'll just be on the back burner. Snapchat, we told you what's going on with this trade recently. Didn't I already talk about Snapchat? I already talked about Snapchat, so we can just remove it from this one. Lucid Motors, no volume at the moment, but it is trying to hold off at that new 52-week low, and I think a new all-time low also. That is correct. So a new all-time low, new 52-week low, trying to hold up. That previous 52-week low of $5 was giving us some clean scalps and clean shorts on either direction. Clean longs and clean shorts, clean scalps on either direction. But now the stock is, pulled much lower. Let it settle down over here, and then we'll look to see if the stock can start curling back up for a possible longs. I don't really want to short it too much over here because Lucid, I mean, how low can you really go? How low can you really go? You're pretty low enough. ARM, back above 50. So if for any reason the stock drops down to 50 tomorrow, watch for those buying opportunities. Back above 50 on the Nvidia and ARM catalyst. So if stock can dip and show support, easy longs. And also that news catalyst anchor VWAP is right around $50. So looking for that $50 to come into play. Today's high was around 52. If we zoom out on the daily chart, you see right at that low. I don't know why that was important. Oh, because that was the first curl. That was the first curl at that low, and that low was respected over here. I guess if I put it in from this low also, we can kind of see some new information over there. Not sure if we will or not, but at the end of the day, the stock getting back above 50. Let's keep the technical simple. The stock getting back above 50, showing some support back above 50 on this new positive catalyst. If those buyers come back into play, then I'm interested to see if the stock has a move right back into the IPO range low of $55 to $56 to the north side over here. So ARM, watch out for some longs over there. Shopify, I don't think Shopify is back in play at the moment, but it is holding off in this beautiful range with very light volume. There was a couple days where it looked like it was in play. It looked like it wanted to break out of this 55 56 area to the upside, but nothing really happened. Then we rode right back to the downside, and now we're looking like we want to break over here, but nothing's really happening. So I'm not really too interested to see what happens, meaning I'm not interested to put a trade over here and then losing on it to see what happens on Shopify. I can just stay on the sidelines and let it do what it wants to do, and then come back and kind of analyze and see if there's a trade over there. For those of you who do like to look for buying into the lower end of the ranges, it is exactly there. It is exactly at the lower end of the ranges, that $50 area, possible buying area for Shopify for those interested. Me, not so much, but I'll put it in my notes. 50 possible buying here. Today's low though, 49 to 60 something. Was that off the open? Let's go see. That was off the open. So it looks like, yeah, buying did kick in and we jumped right back above 50. So shout out to Shopify. Looks like though, if you do get in at 50, you might want to put your stops at today's low around 49.50. The Shopify over there. DKNG, are you doing anything interesting? Good job. You're holding off right at that range low one more time, but no real volume spike. So it's going to be on the back end of our watch list, something to just shuffle through, find stocks that are maybe, at the higher end of the ranges or at the lower end of the ranges for us to keep an eye out for, to maybe catch some dips or some longs later on in the day or even off the open. Just on the back burner, no real relative volume on any of these stocks happening for us to be too interested interested on. Roblox stuffing back down around that $32 area. There were a couple days where it looked like it wanted to get back above 32 and really punch back above 32, but right now, as you guys can see, on day 3, day 1 Thursday, day 2 Friday, day 3 not able to punch back above 32 and push back down. I think the stock is finding resistances again around this area. Just let it trade out. Don't try to fight these ranges. Let it trade out. I think there's something possible at 30 and something possible at 32 or 32.50. Don't fight the middle of these ranges over here. So let the stock just do what it wants to do. Same thing applies to all these stocks again. I'm sorry if this sounds annoying to you, but you know, same thing applies to all of these stocks in this basket. These are just watch what happens, and maybe there's some trades over there for us to take. Carvana, you know, volume really dying down on Carvana, sadly, so that really unexcites me. Baba and JD, I love to look at Chinese stocks, trust me, but these stocks, they don't do anything. Apparently they don't do anything. On one random day they do a ton of volume and a big ATR, and then randomly they just die down and just be stuck in pennies. So nothing happening over here on the Chinese sector ever since that catalyst came out recently. A firm in that same book as Carvana for me, stuck in a nice little wedge pattern, higher lows but lower highs, creating a nice little pizza slice pattern over here on Affirm, and we'll have to see what side of the pizza gets taken a bite out of, and then we drop to the other side or we pump to the other side on Affirm, but low volume. Here's some stocks that actually are a little bit more exciting: SEDG and ENPH. Some sort of a negative catalyst on both of these solar stocks recently, dropping to the downside. Really struggled to get above yesterday's high on SEDG, as you guys can see over here. ENPH was a sympathy trade, so it's a little bit more different, but ENPH sold off a little bit more compared to SEDG. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I thought ENPH was just a sympathy to the SEDG catalyst, but SEDG looking a little bit better than ENPH at the moment, actually up 3.12% on the day 2 of SSR. So tomorrow the stock will not be on SSR, and if for any reason the stock cannot get above 86 and stay above 86, there's possibly some monster short opportunities back to the downside on this position. If can't hold 86 on bids, could see stock back to Friday's lows on swing scale. Let's put that in our notes. Okay, on the swing spectrum. But if the stock is holding above 86, whatever today's high is, yeah, if the stock can hold above 86 and actually show buying above 86, possible gap close coming in the near term, or on the swing term over there for SEDG. ENPH, I'm pretty shocked to see Friday's low breaking and the stock actually closing at the lower end of today's ranges. So that tells me that we closed lower later on in the day. So yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. We pushed lower later on in the day and just rejected all day. So ENPH struggling over there, sadly, and more weakness coming in most likely on this position. So watch out for that. Mayday, brace for impact. OKTA. This is the level on OKTA that I was interested in. I thought there was a big move to 66, 67, not 66, 67 ish or so, and I was basically short $70. I was short $70 in pre-market, right there on the failure to pump back above 70. I had a pretty decent move to the south side. I scalped some wins, but then I got trapped in this move over here, got chopped up on the move back above 70, and I basically gave back whatever I made, and it was a flat trade on the day for me. And look what the stock did. It just traded sideways all day. Boring. Sleeper. So nothing really happened on this position all day. Looks like a lot of buying in front of that $67 area, basically. And if for any reason the stock does have that negative catalyst coming back in, you want to see that 67 area get tested and break down. So the breakdown of 67 could give us a possible trade. Keep track of that 67 area for possible long or shorts. So breakdown of that 67 could give us a bigger short area down, or holding of the 67 could give us a possible long and a gap close back into 73 on OKTA. Once again, they had negative catalyst that some sort of a data breach for a security company. Not really a good look when you're selling security and you can't have that yourself. Not a good look. Ooh, my stomach is rumbling because I need any food since 6 o'clock. No, I ate lunch at 12:40. I ate lunch, and the only thing I ate after that was a protein bar after my gym and sauna session. So I'm hungry. My stomach is rumble in the jungle at the moment. Thankfully, the last stock we have on board over here is Meta, something that we don't give a shit about, but I'm sure you guys do. So we'll talk about for you guys. Meta at the moment stuck in the higher end of the ranges. Shout out to that. Okay, look at this level. I like this level a lot, actually. Now I'm burping. First I was hungry, now I'm burping. Okay. So I like this level quite a bit on Meta. Right around this 307.50s. Notice how many days we struggle to get above 307.50s. That's a solid level in my opinion. Solid resistance near 307.50. Eventually getting above that area. Now pulling back and finding some support. We also have that 320. What is that? 330? 326.20 up to 330. Something to keep an eye out for over here on Meta to the north side. So if for any reason this one wants to rally higher and higher, I don't know why people like Meta so much. I hate Meta. Anyways, if the stock wants to rally and hold up at that 307.50, then possible longs off of that area. Looks like 307/307.50 is some sort of a level, so could see some long ops here. But if market weak and stock gets below and hold under, could get short here. Okay, so looking for some opportunities over there on that price point. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a day trader like me, if you're a prop day trader, you will need to be looking for opportunities with the right amount of volume, right amount of relative volume, and as why aren't these changing? What the hell is going on with this mouse? Maybe it's just this notebook. You want to be trading opportunities with the right amount of volume, right amount of relative volume, as S&B Capital calls it, the stocks in play. And in my opinion, the in play stocks tomorrow, right here, earnings in pre-market, and these Bitcoin stocks over here. I don't think you really need to be looking for any other opportunities tomorrow. If you focus in on Bitcoin stocks tomorrow and some of the earnings plays tomorrow, and really hone in on those opportunities, you will smash the game and ballpark, what's it called, a grand slam for you guys, and some money opportunities coming in. So hopefully you guys are able to make some money over there on those trades. For anyone wondering what the economic calendar looks like, 9:45 we got S&P 500 Global Services PMI, a 3-star event, so obviously a pretty important event. We also got a 2-year auction at 1 o'clock that could move the market, so watch out for that. 9:45 a.m. and then 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 important time periods over there which could move the market around. Looks like Richmond Manufacturing Index, it says 1 star, but sometimes these random 1-star events could also move the market, so be careful. That's at 10 o'clock, but it is saying 1 star at the moment. Could also be a nothing burger event off of that. So that's the economic calendar for tomorrow. IPO calendar, if I remember correctly, there was something interesting coming up. Nope, doesn't look like it. Nothing interesting right now coming up for the IPO calendar. And is there anything else I'm forgetting? Oh yes, make sure to go check out all of my links down below. You can either check my Linktree page, which looks like this, where you can find all of my social media links: Discord, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, most of which we are usually active on, and most of which we need to be more active on, and my affiliate sponsor links too, all down below. Use code PRAD15 to get 15% off on my affiliate sponsor links. And make sure to, as always, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share that page, because we are so close to hitting that milestone on YouTube to start making start monetizing a little bit on YouTube over here. And then I have big plans with those monetization once we monetize YouTube over here. So help me out, share that YouTube channel, put some comments in there in the after the videos if you want to, hit that like button if you can, and obviously don't forget to subscribe. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, 8 o'clock. And as for my plans right now, time to walk my dog, time to eat some food, time to finish charting, and time to go play some CS2, maybe some Escape from Tarkov. So if you want to play Escape from Tarkov, come join my Discord server, and then we'll go from there. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night, peace out, see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Ciao.